Do you find it hard to look in the mirror sometimes because you don't like what you see? Do you find it hard to love yourself or even like yourself at times? Are you ashamed of yourself and your past and feel guilt for some of the mistakes you've made? Due to childhood trauma and due to past relationship trauma, we can find it very hard to feel worthy, to feel like we're good enough. We find it very hard to love ourselves. This is why with the important tools and with important inner work and healing, we can get to the space of unconditionally loving ourselves. And it is worth it because you are lovable and you are worthy. You just need to find that within yourself. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. I know exactly what it's like. I know exactly what it is like to avoid looking in that mirror because we don't like what we see. We're afraid to even love and like ourselves. I remember back in 2018, this was the very start of my spiritual journey. I was just out of another toxic relationship and I was in Amsterdam for my 30th and my friends were like, I was in a really bad place. I was so bad. I was like really, really, really bad. I remember my friend saying, look in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself. And I was like, I can't. I cried. I actually started crying and I said to her, I can't because that would be a lie. That's heartbreaking to think that I was in such a space where I couldn't look in the mirror and say that I had, I liked or even loved myself because of what I'd been through, because of my lack of self-worth, because of the pain and trauma I'd experienced. And what was amazing, within a year of doing inner healing, inner work, I was able to meet those people again with a big smile on my face and say, I do fucking love myself. I've transformed so much. Like to understand, I understand what that's like, how we can feel so worthless because we've been made to feel worthless due to, I suppose, neglect or abandonment as a child, but also due to narcissistic abuse or any kind of toxic relationship, whether that comes from romantic relationships, work relationships, or family relationships, friendships even. When we're abused, when we suffer this trauma, especially an abandonment wound, we feel, like for me personally, my mom left when I was a toddler. And unconsciously, now I didn't discover this till I started healing, unconsciously, my inner child believed that she was the sole reason my mother left. My inner child believed that she wasn't worthy of unconditional love. This is why I spent my whole life attracting narcissists. This is why I spent my whole life not wanting to look in that mirror, because I was like, if my mother can't love me, then who's ever going to fucking love me? Now, when I actually started healing, I got it was gas. Like I remember it like yesterday. I got a flashback of my mum when I saw a picture of her, and I was like, I actually remembered how much she did love me, and it was only her problems that led to her leaving, so I remembered that, and that was transformative for my journey. But you know what really, really transformed my self-love? I had very bad anger issues. It was kind of inherited anger. But like I had really bad anger issues, and most of my two relationships in my 20s, they were volatile. There was anger, there was aggression all the time, and my poor little dogs used to cower behind the couch with all the shouting. And I've been trying my best on my journey to obviously heal these anger wounds. And at the start of the journey, I'd still shout at my dogs a lot, and I'd feel such remorse and regret for it. And they'd still look at you with that unconditional love in their eyes, and I was like, I'm so sorry. How do you fucking still love me after fucking shouting at you? And then I was like, I'm going to aspire to become the person that they see. And that's what I did. And they taught me what unconditional love was. My dogs taught me what unconditional love was. And they actually taught me to love myself. Because I was like, they see me for who I am. They see my kindness. They see my purity, right? And I'm like, that has to be real. They love me for a reason. So I started to more than ever embody the person that they saw. And this helped me to stop being aggressive and angry and stuff, because I end up, I don't shout at my dogs anymore. I try not anyway. you know, we all get a little bit triggered at times, but you know, I actually, that's what I used as a mechanism for me to learn self-love. Was literally, I aspired to become the person my dog saw. You know, I was like, if they can unconditionally love me, there has to be something good inside me. So I started to become, or started to express more of the kindness in myself instead of the anger. And this worked really, really well. It really did. And also, I discovered inner child healing. This was the big one, the fucking big one. I realized I didn't love myself because my inner child felt unlovable. My inner child felt so unworthy that is how I felt. You know, and this is like, when I discovered that how we love ourselves is loving our inner child, it was like, okay, this thing is possible. So I started to reparent, relove, and validate my inner child and give her the things that she felt she didn't get as when I was young. And it worked. And it works. Now, this, like with inner child healing, it is a continuous journey. You know, we have to be aware of our inner child at all times. When you're feeling that rejection, when you're feeling that abandonment, when you're feeling those codependence tendencies, this is your inner child. This is your inner child latching on. And this is the thing with narcissistic relationships. The reason we attract narcissistic relationships is because we're so vulnerable, because we're so unhealed, because our inner child is literally like a little child standing there with open arms, asking to be loved, craving to be loved. And the narcissist comes in then and takes advantage of that and shows us this toxic love. But we feel, okay, this is what love is, so therefore we're going to latch onto it. And then we even become more unworthy because them fuckers abuse us even more. But when we start to understand that our decisions were based on our lack of worth, our lack of feeling validated, we can fix that. We can fix that by going into our inner child. We can fix that by reparenting our inner child. And that's the beauty of it. You reparent and love your inner child. When your inner child feels that love that it didn't get when you were younger, you start to feel loved by yourself. You know, and this is the beauty of the journey to self-love. It's so transformative. Like when you start to love yourself, you start to love everything. You start to see the world so different. And that's it. You see the world so differently when you start to embody this love. Like literally, it's like seeing the world with fresh eyes, from that inner child eyes. You know, you see the world in wonderment again. You know, it's like everything is new. You go outside and you see this leaf and you're like, wow, there's such beauty there, because you feel that love. You're embodying unconditional love for yourself after healing your inner child. So therefore, everything you see is beautiful. And I mean it, everything. Like, there's beauty to find. Like, I picked up a piece of moss one day and there was little water particles in it. And I was just like, wow, that is beautiful, because I'm embodying love now. You know, and to go from that state, and I know what this is like. I avoided looking in the mirror for so long, and I didn't even realize this until I went to get an eye test, and there was the optician said that she saw a little freckle kind of on my eyelid. And I was just like, she was like, did you see that? How long has that been there? Or have you not noticed it? And I was just like, I haven't noticed it. And then that kind of made me realize, fucking hell, when was the last time I looked in the mirror? Like literally all I did was look in the mirror briefly just to brush my hair, and that was it. But I never looked in the mirror. And that was the thing. Like I avoided eye contact with myself because I was just couldn't look at myself due to a lot of trauma I'd been through as well. But it was all of it racked up between the childhood trauma, between the abuse I received, all that kind of stuff. And it made me realise, fucking hell, it's been a long time since I was able to actually look at myself. And now I walk past the mirror and I'm fucking smiling at myself. I'm even fucking talking to myself in the mirror. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking, I love myself now. I'm fucking deadly. Do you know what I mean? I really do. I've gone from being that person who did not ever think that I could even like myself, you know, to actually being so proud of who I am and so proud of the person I've become, and like the person I've always been. But because of my lack of worthiness, I suppressed a lot of who I was. I hid in this little bubble, do you know, a bubble of protection. And this is how I saw it. Like when I realized the inner child thing, I realized that my inner child, myself really, was literally locked in this bubble. this grey bubble. I closed myself off to the world as a way of protecting myself from being hurt again. And I was afraid to look out. And like everything was dark, everything was depressing, everything was sad, everything was shit, like. And to be able to work on my inner child and to find that love again, to be able to open that bubble and to see colour in my life for the first time. You know, now there's no grey, there's no black and white. All I see is rainbows. Do you know what I mean? So I literally see magic everywhere I go now because I embody that self-love. And I love it. Like, you know, you're instead of, like, I remember as well, I was so depressed and stuff. I used to walk with my head on the ground. And, you know, there's this thing, superstition. Don't walk on cracked pavement. It's bad luck. And I'm like, the person who invented superstition was just depressed. The fucker was just walking along the street depressed and goes, Jesus, I got bad luck today because I walked on a crack. And that was it, because when I was depressed, I walked with my head down. I didn't look up. And I, like, you know, people in my village, when I grew up, my town, when I started to get to know them later, in my later teens and stuff, they were like, I was actually afraid of you. And I was like, why? And it's like, you just looked so angry. You know, so I would actually be staring at the ground with this fucking resting bitch face on me because I was so depressed and so unhappy and so afraid to be seen. This is it. Like, it was like, please don't look at me. Please don't talk to me. Please don't see me. That's how I was. And now I literally go around the place with the head up high and fucking happy as a pig in shit, like. Do you know, happy all the fucking time. I'm driving around the place fucking singing like there's no fucking tomorrow. Do you get me? I just fucking feel love for everything. And that's what this is all about. This is the importance of inner child healing. This is the importance of loving your inner child so that you can love yourself. This is the magical journey of self-love. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And when when you start to embody love, this is the thing. Oh, this was, I saw this clip in a movie. The perks of being a wallflower. And the kid asked the teacher, it's like, why do good people date the wrong person or bad people, or, you know? And the teacher said, we accept the love we think we deserve. That really hit a nerve for me. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, when I was attracting narcissistic relationships, I felt so unworthy. So I attracted the love I thought I deserved. Like, that's heartbreaking. You know, that we attract toxic relationships because we think that's all we deserve. That's horrible. You know what I mean? Because it's because of our inner child wounding. And like, to have a child believe that they did something so fucking wrong that they're not lovable. A child, a fucking toddler, a fucking child can't even fucking speak, and like, that child is blaming itself for, you know, that neglect, that abandonment. We can't blame an innocent child for that. You know what I mean? And that's what we effectively do. By blaming ourselves, we effectively blame our inner child. We're effectively blaming an innocent child. That's not right. This is not our fault. None of it was our fault. You know, we don't deserve that toxic love. And that's why when we get to this journey of self-love, we don't attract those toxic relationships anymore. We actually attract high vibrational, divine love into our lives. And that is truly magical. So when we do this work, and it's hard, it is hard to get to that, the top of the mountain, as we'll call it. It's hard to get there. It's a struggle. But fuck, it's worth it. It's so much better than the pain we've experienced, the trauma we've experienced in the past. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. And you know, when you live in that wonderment like a child, that's what it feels like when you live in self-love, when you have that unconditional love for yourself and everything around you. Everything turns to magic. And you start to attract in high vibrational love into your life, high vibrational energy, abundance, opportunities, the love you actually deserve. So that's it. Like, so we attract the love we think we deserve. So stop thinking you deserve shitty love, because you are worthy. You are enough, and you deserve magic, love, and abundance in your life. You deserve a high vibrational love because you deserve it. You deserve to love yourself and to be loved unconditionally by others too. You are worthy. None of it was your fault. None of it. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help in your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path.